Alright, let's talk about transformation. So let's think about what that word means, to transform. It means to change. Transform or change something. So the ones that we're going to spend most of our time talking about are these first three: translations, reflections, and rotations. Okay, these are all called isometric or rigid transformations. Okay, if something's rigid, there's not any change in it, right? So an isometric or rigid transformation is when your pre-image, that's the one where you start at, is congruent. Congruent means the same to your image. And an image is where you finish after your transformation. So an isometric or rigid transformation can be defined as when your pre-image, okay, let's say this is the pre-image, and your image, let's say this is the image, are congruent. They're the same. Okay, so let's first actually look at the one where it's not rigid. That's your dilation. So a dilation is if you were to enlarge, so let's say this was my pre-image and this is my image, or reduce if you went backwards. Okay, now a dilation, they're not going to be congruent, but they will be proportional. Okay, meaning similar. Okay, you're going to be able to use proportions if you're dealing with the dilation, if you were doing much with it. We, to be honest, do not in my class. Okay, so going back to these, we do spend a lot of time looking at these though. So a translation, SL, translate, is when you slide a figure. So if the way you can get from a pre-image to an image is if you trace it, if the only way you can get from the pre-image to the image is by sliding your paper, then you know that that's a translation. Okay, I'm not identifying on these a pre-image and image, so I can't really talk about that. Reflection, FL, reflect is a flip. Okay, you're always going to, with a reflection, you're going to be flipping it, or actually folding it, also has an FL, and you're going to be folding it over or across a line. Okay, sometimes they'll say over or across, and what that means, let me just kind of draw my approximation here of where the line would have been for this reflection. So if this was my pre-image and I wanted to fold it or reflect it over that line or across that line, I would either be given the equation or just drawn a line, and if I folded my paper to get to that, or I had to flip my paper over, then that was a reflection. Okay. A rotation, the T in there is going to help you remember that it's a turn, or think about how you rotate your tires. If you're doing a turn, your pre-image and image, you're going to turn it about a point. Okay, so you're going to be holding on to a point to turn it to get to your image. Okay, so when you rotate, just like when you reflect, you're going to reflect over a line. When you rotate, you rotate about a point. Okay, so that's the point that you hold on to when you turn your paper. Okay? Alright, so start by just making sure you're able to identify these. You can try the 4 at the bottom of this page.